The scent of burnt plastic hit my nose before I even saw the mess. I stood at the bathroom doorway, heart racing, jaw clenched. Smoke curled from the sink. My makeup bag, a soft beige pouch my best friend gave me on my 21st, lay half-melted. Inside it, every single one of my cosmetics was torched. Lipsticks warped. Palettes cracked. My foundation, the expensive one I saved for special days, bubbled and blackened. Before we begin, drop a comment and tell us where are you from and from which city you're watching our videos. And after watching the whole video, don't forget to tell us what would you do in this situation? Be honest, tell me in the comments below. We read every comment. Let's begin. My hands shook as I picked it up. The fabric scorched my palm. I dropped it, and it hit the sink with a soft thunk. From behind me came the most casual voice in the world. "She's the bride," my mother said flatly, arms crossed as she leaned on the doorframe. "You shouldn't outshine her." I turned slowly. Her expression was cold. Not apologetic. Not even annoyed. Just satisfied. "Are you serious?" I whispered. "You did this." Her shrug was the kind that said, "What are you going to do about it?" I barely had time to process that before another voice echoed down the hallway. Finally, my dad called from the living room, voice full of mockery. "You'll stay in the background for once." And then he laughed. Loudly. Unashamed. Like it was funny. Like I was a joke. I walked past my mother in silence, each footstep heavier than the last. My heels clicked against the hardwood like a countdown. Every nerve in my body buzzed with fury, shame, and something deeper, something old. Something that had been simmering for years. They didn't know what they had just ignited. They thought they'd humiliated me, put me in my place, ruined my moment. But what they didn't realize was this. I had no intention of fading into the background. Not today. Not ever again. I stepped into the guest room and locked the door behind me. My breath came in shallow bursts. The makeup was one thing. The laughter, that was the real poison. They always laughed when they saw me broken. I opened the closet and pulled out the one thing they didn't know I had. My own dress. Not the dull gray monstrosity my sister picked for me, claiming it fit my vibe. No. This dress was sapphire silk with an open back, high neckline, and slit up the thigh. Classy. Fierce. Dangerous. The exact opposite of invisible. I sat down at the vanity. The smoke from the bathroom still clung to my hair. My makeup was gone, but I had something else. A backup bag, hidden under my coat in my car's glove box. I ran down the stairs, ignoring the way my mom muttered, "Where's she going now?" Like I was a burden. I didn't care anymore. By the time I returned with the bag, my sister had started her dramatic pre-wedding photo shoot in the garden. White roses, silk robes, squealing bridesmaids, cameras flashing. But none of them noticed me. Good. I locked the door again and sat down to work. Each stroke of eyeliner felt like reclaiming power. Every brush of blush on my cheek rewrote the script they'd written for me. You see, what they didn't know was that I wasn't here to play the quiet sister anymore. I wasn't here to sit quietly in the corner and not outshine anyone. I was here because I had a plan. And they were about to see exactly what it meant when the one you count out stops playing nice. Outside, the wedding prep buzzed like a beehive. Inside, I stood in front of the mirror, my dress hugging every curve, my hair pulled back into a high sleek ponytail, eyes sharpened with liner like blades. Someone knocked on the door. I opened it. It was my cousin Emily. Her eyes widened. "Whoa," she breathed. "You look insane." "Thanks," I said, brushing past her. In the hallway, I could already hear it. The laughter, the chatter, the shrill voice of my sister, April, shouting at someone about champagne flutes not matching her Pinterest board. I walked into the chaos like I belonged there. Heads turned. Conversation stopped. And then came the silence. April turned to me, dressed in her pearl-encrusted gown, and her eyes scanned me like a scanner looking for a threat. "Oh," she said, blinking. "You're wearing that?" I smiled, sharp and cold. "Don't worry. I won't steal your spotlight." Behind her, Dad let out a low whistle. "You're really trying hard, huh?" All that just to be a side character? I looked him in the eye. And I said nothing, because what was coming next would speak louder than words. The sun blazed mercilessly across the sprawling backyard. A rented arch of white roses stood beneath a gauzy canopy, fluttering in the soft wind. Guests began arriving, cousins, uncles, family friends, dressed to the nines, all clutching gift bags and pastel-colored envelopes. Someone played a violin on the side lawn. April's wedding planner barked orders into a headset, while bridesmaids flitted around like nervous butterflies. I stood under the oak tree near the back, watching it all unfold. A few guests looked my way. They smiled with tight mouths, nodding out of politeness. No one approached me. Not surprising. I'd always been the other daughter. The one who didn't quite fit the mold. "Did you really have to wear something that bold?" Came a hiss near my shoulder. I turned to find my Aunt Melissa, clutching her pearls. I tilted my head.
"Why?
"Does it offend the table linens?" Her face soured. "It's not your day." "No," I said, voice steady. "But it might be the day everyone remembers me for." I left her there, blinking. April strutted down the aisle like a beauty pageant queen. Camera flashes sparked around her. Guests sighed. My father wiped away a fake tear. My mother dabbed the corner of her eye with a silk napkin like she was in a movie. As the officiant began his speech, I looked around. They really thought this was it. Their perfect golden daughter marrying into money, sealing the family name to something respectable. Something they could brag about at their dinner parties. And me, still the girl who tried too hard. The background one. The one they used as a prop to make April shine brighter. But what they never knew was, I'd been planning this for months. When the officiant asked, "If anyone here has a reason these two should not be joined in marriage, speak now or forever hold your peace," there was a pause. A breathless silence. Then a cough. Then shifting chairs. Then a voice. "Actually," I said, stepping forward, my heels echoing sharply on the wooden platform. "I do." Gasps rolled through the rows like thunder over water. April froze mid-breath. Her fiancé, Lucas, turned, eyes wide. "What is this?" I met his gaze, then turned to my sister. "You told everyone I was jealous. A disappointment. A drama magnet. But you didn't tell them you were still seeing your ex while engaged to Lucas, did you?" Her face strained. My mother stood up. "Enough," she snapped. "You're embarrassing the family." I raised an envelope. "Funny, because I have text messages, photos, and a receipt for a hotel suite booked in your name, April. Just 3 weeks ago. Room service for 2. Champagne. Breakfast in bed. Shall I keep going?" Lucas's mouth parted. He blinked. His hands dropped to his sides. April tried to speak, but her voice cracked. "This is insane. You're lying." I handed the envelope to Lucas. "I'm not," I said. "You made me the villain. For years. All so you could stay the golden child.
But today?
I'm just telling the truth." Lucas read the pages. His face turned from confused to pale to something else. Pure, seething betrayal. He looked at April. "You told me you'd blocked him," he whispered. "You promised." April shook her head violently. "He meant nothing, Lucas. It was a mistake. One mistake." I folded my arms. "Was it also a mistake when you stole money from Grandma's will? Or when you hacked my email and deleted job interview requests? Or when you sent fake complaints to my boss until I got fired last year?" April snapped her head toward me, her mouth opening to deny it. But it was too late. The guests murmured. Whispers flew like bees. My father stood. "What is going on?" "I'm done," I said, staring him down. "Done protecting this illusion of a family. Done being your scapegoat. You told me this morning I should stay in the background." I turned to the crowd. Well, today I stepped forward. April broke down in front of everyone, crying, screaming that it wasn't fair, that she'd planned this day since she was 12. Lucas walked off the stage, throwing the envelope at the ground. Guests began to leave, some discreetly, others shaking their heads openly. The wedding planner collapsed onto a bench, face buried in her clipboard. I walked toward the gate. My mother caught up, grabbing my arm. "How dare you ruin this day?" I looked at her hand, then at her. "I didn't ruin it," I said quietly. "I revealed it." And I walked away. For the first time in my life, they watched me go. They noticed me. And it was only the beginning. The morning after the wedding that never happened, I woke up to 73 missed calls. I didn't answer any of them. I sat on the edge of my bed, sipping black coffee, the sunlight creeping through my blinds. Outside, my neighbor's dog barked, kids rode past on bikes, and everything felt quiet. Until I picked up my phone. April's name trends online after wedding meltdown. Bride's sister exposes affair in front of hundreds. I do. Not anymore. Groom walks out mid-ceremony. I scrolled through the photos. Someone had taken a shot of me standing under the arch, envelope in hand. My face was calm, my body tense. Someone online called me the Ice Queen of Wedding Day Truths. Another just called me a hero. I didn't feel like one. By noon, April had already posted a fake apology online, playing the victim. I was under pressure. I made a mistake. My sister hates me. I'm still in shock. She even attached a picture of her crying in her wedding dress. But people weren't buying it. Lucas posted a single statement. "I wish her peace. And I wish I had listened sooner." Later that afternoon, Mom showed up at my apartment. No warning. She stood at my door like she owned the world. Lipstick perfect. Eyes cold. "You embarrassed us." "No," I said. "You embarrassed yourselves." I just stopped covering it up. She didn't step inside. Just looked around like the place was beneath her. "Your father says you're no longer welcome at family events." I blinked once. "You think I want to come back after everything?" "We raised you." "No," I replied. "You raised April." "I raised myself." Her face twitched for half a second. Then she turned and walked away without another word. I shut the door quietly. That night, Emily, my cousin, called. "I just wanted to say I'm proud of you," she whispered. "We all knew how they treated you. We just didn't say anything." "Why?" "Because they scared us too. But not anymore." That was the beginning. Not of revenge, but of something better. Rebuilding. 3 days later, a lawyer called me. He said my grandmother's will had a sealed addendum. One no one knew about, except me, apparently. "You've been named as the sole executor of her personal estate," he said calmly. I nearly dropped the phone. "I thought everything went to April." "That's what your father told people," he replied. "But that's not what your grandmother filed." When I walked into the lawyer's office, I expected confusion. But what I found was clarity. The document was handwritten, dated just months before Grandma passed. It read, "To my granddaughter, the one who was ignored but never stopped loving, the one who helped me even when it cost her everything. This is yours, not because you asked, but because you never did." Attached was the deed to her lake house, her jewelry collection, and a trust fund. By the weekend, the family group chat, one I was usually left out of, exploded. Screenshots came in from Emily.
"Dad."
"That can't be legal."
"Mom."
"We need to contest it." She manipulated her. "April." "She stole what was mine." I smiled. For the first time in years, I didn't feel small. I felt seen. The next day, April showed up. No cameras. No dramatics. Just her, puffy-eyed, lips trembling. "I need that lake house," she said. "It's where I plan to spend my honeymoon." Lucas would have loved it. "You mean the honeymoon that never happened?" I asked, keeping my voice steady. She looked down. Then she whispered, "I didn't think you'd actually do it. I thought you'd just take it again. Like always." "You mean take your insults? Your sabotage? The way you and Mom made sure I always felt like an outsider." "I was jealous of you," she suddenly snapped. "You were always kind, even when they treated you like garbage. I hated you for that." I stared at her. "Then maybe you should have tried being better instead of being bitter." She didn't respond. She just left. I stood alone in that lake house the next morning, sipping coffee on the porch. The water was calm, and for the first time in my life,
So was I.
2 weeks passed. The news cycle died down. The comments slowed. Even April stopped posting. But just when I thought the dust had finally settled, I got a letter. No return address. Just my name, handwritten in angry strokes. Inside was a single sheet of paper. You destroyed everything. I hope the lake house burns down with you in it. I stared at it for a while. Not shocked. Not scared. Just tired. I took a deep breath, folded it up, and slid it into a drawer. Then I called my lawyer. By the end of that week, a formal restraining order had been filed. My attorney had also found something even more interesting: misappropriated funds in my grandmother's estate, transfers that linked back to April, thousands of dollars missing, forged signatures, all before the wedding even fell apart. We froze the accounts and launched a full audit. And when April was served the papers, she completely unraveled again. But this time, no one defended her. Not Mom. Not Dad. Not even her old friends. Because people had finally seen behind the mask. I didn't go to court the day her hearing was set. I didn't need to. Instead, I was at the lake house, painting the sunroom. Emily was there with her daughter, helping me redecorate. She looked up at me as we rearranged the furniture. You ever think you'd be here? I smiled softly.
No.
But I stopped waiting for permission to have peace. Later that night, I walked down to the dock. The moon lit the water. Everything was still. I thought of all the years I'd spent being quiet, playing along, shrinking myself. And then I thought of the wedding, the fire in the sink, the laughter, the silence I broke. And I whispered to the water, "You were wrong about me." Because they were. They thought I'd fade, that I'd stay small forever. But I had turned their cruelty into clarity, their mockery into momentum, and their silence into strength. No headlines, no applause, just me, owning every inch of the life they tried to write me out of. And finally, writing my own.